Anthony Bourdain, he's I love watching him, the way his storytelling is and whatnot, right? So I want to play this quick clip. All right. It's well, this led to the question that I'm going to ask next.
So that was going to be my next question. Was Pampanga first, Philippines second?
Okay. No.
He didn't have to think. You didn't have to think about it.
No. Okay, let's put it this way. You cannot be a Filipino unless you become a Pampanga first.
Okay. See, did you hear that? Did you hear that?
You cannot be a Filipino unless something Pampanga.
Yeah. Can you hear it or no?
It's soft though.
No, hold on.
Like that chef,
Second?
Which chef?
Okay. No.
He didn't have to think. You didn't have to think about it.
No. Okay, let's put it this way. You cannot be a Filipino unless you become a Pampanga first. Become yourself first.
You can't become a Filipino unless you become Pampanga first
What?
or Pampangueño first.
No, whatever region you are from.
You identify yourself with that first. I mean, I'm a New Yorker first and American
Yes.
second.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which makes sense. You know, the whole, yeah.
Tomorrow we're on our way to Cebu. You identify.
So basically, that led me to ask the questions: are Filipinos too proud? You know,
What do you mean?
like,
Proud of where they're from?
as a Filipino itself, you know, are we too proud as Filipinos? Meaning, well, that's the thing though. Is it all about patriotism, or is it about individualism? You know, like what he said, you gotta be Pampangueño first. It's like their region is prioritized or emphasized prior or before the country as itself. So, is it? Yeah, is it borderline may pagkayabang ba, or is it bad to be too proud?
No, actually, karamihan sa Pampanga is mayabang.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ganun ba
Mayabang or
talagang
proud?
stereotype
Yeah.
doon?
Yeah.
Proud.
No, ganun
I
talaga
think
sila.
every region naman, kahit Manila, mayabang rin. If you're from, not
No.
region, but every place, no, even, hindi lang, ganun ba? Basta lahat
Yeah.
naman yata
Depende
merong
sa
negative something, just
ano
positive
nila,
something.
may mga ano kasi sila like, I don't know kung nandun talaga sa tradition nila na yabang talaga
Ah,
sa lugar nila.
right.
Na ganun.
Siguro yabang is not the word. Baka ano lang, meron lang kanyang, there's
That,
just a
that's
different,
that's I was actually thinking about that after hearing him say that, because I've actually thought about that before. This is not the first time I've seen that episode, you know. But for him to clearly say, you can't be Filipino unless you're Pampangueño first.
the first
You
time
know.
that I heard it, I thought he was being proud about Pampangueño. And then when you played it again, maybe what he meant was you got to be proud of your region first. I was
Right.
thinking of Commander Daot and Kulas, for example.
Okay.
Parang it's easy to be a
You cannot be
a
a
foreigner
Filipino
coming over to the
unless you
Philippines and then
become a
feeling
Pampanga
like you're
first.
Filipino because you've
Become
gone around
yourself
all
first.
around the Philippines, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think what he's saying, in fairness to what he's saying, if I'm right in interpreting it, parang these foreigners, Daot and Kulas, for example,
Right.
until they feel that they are, let's say, from Davao or Davaoeño, unless that's when they can say that they can be Filipino.
Right.
Parang you need to be identified, or you need. I don't necessarily agree with this, but parang for you to be really like in with your feet or your teeth sinking into it, you need to be identified. You need to be able to identify yourself
Like your own region first.
under a certain region. Yeah, because otherwise you've just tasted the whole buffet. I mean, that's if you're feeling Filipino, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if Kulas is becoming Filipino, maybe I'll make my hashtag feeling Filipino. Like feeling Filipino.
That actually that fits better with me since I'm the one that's feeling Filipino.
Feeling Filipino, diba?
You know, I mean, you're
Pero I
more
don't know.
Filipino than I am. So, but the question there really is like this guy. It just kind of stung a little bit, ba? You know,
Yeah.
maybe you're right with what you're saying. Pero medyo masakit pakinggan eh. It's like it feels like it's like in a way the lack of patriotism to the country itself. It's like parang what? Like if Pampangenia secedes with the Philippines type of thing, just like with the whole U.S. and versus Texas thing. It's, I don't know.
In
Maybe
your
I'm
heart
looking
of
at it
heart,
wrong. Huh?
in your heart of hearts, do you feel like you're more of a Californian or a Virginian?
I'm definitely a Virginian. I am
Really?
definitely a Virginian. I grew up in um I grew up in Virginia, pretty much for the most first part. I mean, in California, pretty much the first part of my teens and whatnot, or most of all my teens. But my life is Virginia. Virginia is going to be home for me
Mm.
no matter what. You know what I mean?
Is it because it's more parang probinsya and quiet?
No, I think it's because I discovered myself here. Granted, I discovered myself my later in life.
Mm.
Para bang nalaman ko yung totoo kong pag-iisip, totoo kong my real
Pagkatao.
pagkatao.
Ako, if
Matanda
I
na
had to,
ako. Nasa 30s na ako nung na-discover ko yun. Ba?
if I had to be
Natuto kong ma-accept.
anywhere in the U.S., I would be Californian, all just because of the coastline. Have to be
Yeah, man. I've
something
never
with
been
the water.
Okay. So about the whole thing with being proud. That's the same thing here in the States. The flip side with that here, residents of each states, unfortunately, not everybody is as proud as their own home states as they should be, right? But there are definitely people who are proud of where they're from. You
I don't
know?
think it's a bad thing to be proud. I think it's bad when you start talking down on other
Yeah.
cultures
Right.
or other people.
That's
If you're
true.
not from Pampanga, if you're from like I
Like
don't know,
if you're in Manila, ay
if you're from
parang,
Manila,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Same
parang
thing
ganun,
here.
like
California's talking about, oh, California's the best state. Your state sucks, type of thing.
yeah. If you start once you start talking about other states or other regions
Right.
sucking,
Right.
that I think you should keep your mouth shut about that. But if you're proud of yourself and where you're from,
Sana sinabi niya
it
na lang
doesn't mean
Pampanga.
everything else is negative.
Right.
Hindi niya na lang dinawit yung Filipino or ano,
Mm-hmm.
Pampanga. I'm
Mm-hmm.
proud I'm being Pampanga. Ganun na lang sana, 'di ba?
Yeah, very
Mm.
tricky
Yeah.
phrase that he used there, honey. You're
Right.
not really truly Filipino unless you're Pampanga. And then I
Ex-
think he corrected
exactly.
himself. Now yun nga that you don't identify with a specific region, maybe is what it means.
Right. Personally, though, me growing up in California, in the same essence of what he's trying to say, I never felt at home in California. I never felt like that California is my place. Even though I grew up there for most of my teens, to me, that whole phase of my life, which is when we met, it was more like a transition phase, because I came from the Philippines.
Ako baligtad. I felt I was at home. I didn't want to
And
leave and go anywhere else.
really, really. Is it because you felt that because it's already the States, the Americas, or as
No, no, no.
opposed to
Well, yeah, there's that too, and I
right?
felt like I was in a movie set. I felt so at home, feeling like I
Right.
was in a movie set.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
but again, it's really the draw of the water. The
Right.
fact that we were near the water, kind of thing, was really a big part of it. I felt like I was at home when I was in Cebu
Oh,
because the ocean. Actually, you know what? Come to think of it, in so many ways, Cebu is a lot like the Bay Area because there's like there's a bridge, there's an
mhm.
airport on the other side that
Right.
geographically it kind of
Ang
reminds me
comfortable
of.
ka, that
So the fact that
comfortable ka sa
the other
place.
day, for the first time, parang binaybay namin we were passing through Pasig River ba yun? Ang baho dun,
Yeah.
amoy
That's
imbornal lang.
Makati, no? That's
We were
Makati.
passing through the Pasig River, Mandaluyong on,
Makati.
pero Pasig River yun,
Yeah.
di ba? Going through Makati,
God.
sort of for the
Oh.
first time.
And then,
But we were on the river banks talaga. Parang
Ah.
baho ng tubig. But
Yeah.
yun, like in like cases like that, I felt
and then
at home.
tagtong namin sa bridge, nasa taas na kami, no?
Oh.
Nakita ko yung river. Ang daming basura. Oh my God. Like,
I thought they were
Ano ba?
cleaning that already.
no.
And was there? I guess they're still in the middle of it.
Oh.
Hindi pa rin
Yeah.
maayos.
Well, again, going back to the whole California thing, it just never felt like home. But when I transferred to Virginia,
What is it about Virginia that makes you feel at home?
to me, it's just everything that happened in my life is here.
No,
The
but
spirit-
is there something physical? Is it the wider roads, less traffic?
No,
The
it's definitely
people-
traffic. The people here are normal. I think it's more like just the aura of it. You know, even though I've made it clear that I want to leave Virginia, that I'm done with Virginia, it's still going to be home for me. You know what I mean? I mean, if people ask me, where are you from? I'm not going
What
to say
would you
I'm from
miss?
California. I'm
What
from
would you miss
Virginia.
the most if you left Virginia?
I don't know. I never really thought about it, to be honest with you. And I probably will never be able to figure that out until I actually move away from here.
The old buildings, the historical sites.
Yeah. I don't know. But maybe that could be it. Definitely the feel of history around here and being so close to DC. Oh, by the way, I don't want to jinx it, but I got confirmation that my reservations for to be able to do a White House tour might be going into
Wow.
effect.
You
Yeah,
mean you have to apply for that?
you gotta try to make a reservations for it, and the wait is long. It's been a long process, but I've gotten a call from the
Hold
congressman's
on.
congresswoman's
What
office.
White House tour, meaning you go around the White House?
Yes, the White House. They do tours in the White House. They've always done tours in the White House.
You mean not everybody gets to do that? You don't just show up and do it?
No, you can't just show up. They do a background check on you.
I'm pretty lucky then because I've been able to do that.
You've gone to the White House?
Yeah, Oval Office and everything.
No way.
Yeah.
When?
I was with, I think it was Westboro. Yeah, I think it was in Westboro. So middle school. And then there was this Washington, D.C., Virginia tour that they were promoting for like a whole year.
Oh, yeah. I remember that actually. Yeah,
And
I
then
mean, I've never been
that-
able to do that.
I was just like brushing it aside. And then like I finally mentioned it to my mom. Oh, yeah, by the way, there's this thing that they've been talking about for the past year, encouraging everybody to go travel and everything. And they're like, my
Right.
mom was like, then why don't you go?
Right.
This is a one-time experience.
You've actually gone into the White House?
And then I was like, yeah, but it's $800,000. You know, it's just money that we don't have. It's like, yeah, but it's experience and blah blah blah.
Mm.
So I went. Next thing you know, I was in line at the White House. You know, going through all these these locations
Yep.
in
Yep.
in Washington D.C. I remember going. Yeah, but yeah, one of the highlights was walking into the White House, and I didn't know that what you're saying now that you have to actually
Now you have to.
qualify
I'm
or
sure you have to
apply for
apply
that.
back then. I mean, the same way, but it's not as hard now. But back then in school, they still have to submit the list of names and whatnot, and that's been going on forever. You know.
Interesting. I didn't know that. So yeah, it was the actual Oval Office, which is actually oval.
Right.
But of course, you know, you have to follow through this specific
Of
path.
course. So we're looking forward to that. You know, we've never done it. I've always wanted to. The Congresswoman Wexton's office actually gave me a call, helped me out, yada yada yada.
That's
Um,
interesting.
So hopefully it's gonna happen in early or mid June or early July. I have
And
2 dates. So
I don't remember ever going to the White House toilet, so don't count on it.
Toilet talaga.
Make
Yeah.
sure you walk in there drained.
well, we're
and
not
ready
allowed to
go.
bring anything. So
Yun.
so
So I just remember I didn't walk into the Oval Office. Take note, we were just allowed by the door.
Mhm.
You know, the door frame,
right.
and there was like a red, you know, that thing that you're like a barricade that you're not allowed to.
Right.
Of course, no president around, but
Of course.
it was the White House.
Right.
Listen, I'm hoping we're going to talk about the world's virtual assistant.
Yeah. So, but
Soon.
real quick, in regards to last thing that I want to say in regards to being a proud Filipino and whatnot, is it a good thing or a bad thing? I think it's it all boils down to Filipinos still trying to discover themselves as Filipinos. I believe that, I mean, for most Filipinos that I know, it's so hard to distinguish how their patriotic side comes out. You know, it's really hard to see or express a Filipino your Philippine patriotic side, because where you're from in the Philippines it supersedes or overtakes your feelings and emotions about the country itself. So I don't know. Who am I to say? I've only lived there in the Philippines when I was really, really young. Although I I do have some of my patriotic side with the Philippines still, only because unfortunately the times that I lived in the Philippines, I have gone through and experienced quite uh well, most of what people would experience. I mean, for crying out loud, I was right smack in the middle of the coup d'etat and the people
It's a
power movement
revolution.
and
Yeah.
whatnot. That's a revolution. I mean, it was literally in my neighborhood happening,
In your face.
in your face type of thing. So,
Microphone's
um,
falling apart here.
what's that?
Microphone's falling apart here. I want to maybe the last thing that I would say about that is like I'm extremely jealous about the foreigners that get to travel around the country more than I can. So and they actually know the country historically more historically than
Yeah.
we do. That we've just sat around and heard about it on the
Right.
through our history teachers, and these guys are actually there, like
Mhm.
have been there, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh,
And
definitely, definitely.
as far
Um,
as being proud and over proud and saying that you're not Filipino if you're not this from this region, I
mhm,
don't know if that's a very healthy attitude, but
mm.
I guess I get it.